Hello, this is Coach A.M. Williams, and welcome back to Yes Go. I have with me leadership coach, author, and leadership trainer, Chad Bumgarner of Chad Bumgarner Consulting. So I want to, Chad, we talked a lot about, leadership and the difference between the functional leaders and vitality and how they both really are necessary to help people to become great leaders. And I mean, you go into this extensively into your book. And so please take a moment right now and give us the name again of the book so that people can grab this, because like this stuff is crucial in leadership today. And so again, tell us again what the name of that book is, what the name of the book is on leadership that you wrote.
It's called The Other Side of the Coin, Benefits of Vitality Leadership. And it's out on Amazon right now. And it's, like you said, it's a lot to unpack on this topic. And I get into a lot of great ideas and examples as far as vitality leadership, how we can create fun, flexibility, freedom, and fulfillment. When you understand the purpose of vitality leadership and learn how to use that in your leadership skills, you'll be able to create all those four things for you and your team. And again, be the leader that people definitely want to follow and gravitate towards and be like, you know what, this guy or this lady really understands leadership, and I don't mind being under their tutelage or their guidance because they understand exactly, what it means to lead people. So yes, the other side of the coin, benefits of vitality leadership.
It really pulls on the maxim that we hear often so many times in entrepreneurial organizations, network marketing organizations, traditional corporations and things of that nature, that people really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And it seems like vitality leadership really speaks to that dynamic. Make sure you go grab that book, The Other Side of the Coin, Benefits of Vitality Leadership by Chad Bumgarner. It's out on Amazon. Make sure you go pick it up. It's not really a question of whether I should or shouldn't. This is a no-brainer. You want to build your leadership, go grab this book. Chad, what we're going to talk about right now, though, is the dynamic of literally just how, what got you so interested and becoming like, what was your yes go moment when it came to becoming a leadership coach? What drew you to it? What was going on in your life at the time where you decided, hey, this is what I wanted to do for my life?
Well, Coach, I've always mentored young people, in my young adulthood all the way up until this very present moment. So I've always had a passion to coach and teach. But what got me specifically into leadership development coaching and training was the fact that I've spent so many years in corporate, over 20 years in corporate, and I've gotten a chance to experience all types of leadership. And it really frustrated me to see the tons of people that were in leadership that were just purely not qualified. And then to make matters worse, it was, they didn't bother to seek any kind of help on, okay, I'm in this position, I know nothing about it, I know how to do my job, but as far as being a leader and leading a group of people, that's kind of foreign to me. I need some help with that. And I noticed that there was not a lot of training for people going into positions of authority. Usually you would hope to see mentorship from senior leadership when they bring someone in, but that was not the case. It was like, hey, you've been promoted, go to work. And so after so many years of seeing it, it was like, I understood because like I said earlier, I had the opportunity to work with some awesome leaders. And I got a chance to have lunch with them and pick their brains about their leadership and why they feel like they're so successful in this position. And then I also sat back and observed and watched successful leaders and unsuccessful leaders and tried to, over the years, compile a list of things that the successful leaders were doing, but the other leaders were not. And I was like, you know what? I've seen enough and I've been in leadership enough to know what makes a successful leader. And so my whole goal and my passion was like, you know what? I want to coach other people that go into these positions of leadership and just pull that coat to them like, hey, let's talk for a minute about what it really means to lead this group of people, what it's going to take, what you need to have, what you need to know, what you need to put in your leadership toolbox, in order to become successful. So that was it. It was just years upon years of bad and horrible leadership, as well as some great leadership. And I was like, you know what? I feel like this is what I'm meant to do. This is the direction that I need to go in, because there's a lot of people that need help, and I feel like I can help them.
Now, what's interesting about your field is that there are so many people who talk about leadership and teach on leadership and train. So having this passion, when you looked at the number of people who were coaching in leadership and you looked at that, being someone new in the coaching field, so to speak, what were your what kind of thoughts were coming up in your mind pertaining to, should I do this or should I not do this? Like what forms of, because we all encounter some resistance when it's something new in our path. What was that like for you?
Well, I had a sit down with one of my mentors. He's a professor at Mercer University down here in Macon, Georgia, or down there in Macon, Georgia. And I talked to him about my vision to become a leadership development coach. And then, like you said, there's always opposition or something negative that creeps in your head. And it's like, there are a lot of people doing this. What makes you think you can be any better?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he was telling me that you have a specific voice that there are a lot of people out there that are dying to hear. He said, Chad, for you to look at it like that is for a pastor to look at, why should I go into the ministry? There are tons of other pastors out there. Or why should I go ahead and open a barbershop? There are tons of other barbershops, because your voice is unique. There are people out there that don't realize it, but they're waiting to hear your voice and what you have to say. And it's all about delivery. He said, Chad, no one can deliver a message like you can. He said, so don't go into it thinking you've got to compete with all these other people, because everybody else has their own voice and you have yours. He said, stay true to your voice and what you know and your experiences. He said, you'll be surprised at the people that will follow you and will communicate with you and that will listen to you and be like, you know what, Chad, I get it. You make sense. You know what I mean? So that was the encouragement for me to go ahead and continue on, because he was right. A couple years later, several years later, there are a lot of people that come to me and say, I love your weekly videos. They make sense. They're practical. They're simple. And that's how I like to keep my message, so that I don't like to go or talk over people's heads. I like to make it simple, practical, relatable, so that when me and my client get off the phone or we dismiss from a face-to-face meeting, they can take what I've shared with them and implement it right away. They don't have to sit down and try to figure out and reason and, write down this. They can take these practical principles and use them right away.
It's interesting that you said, I want to go back to something you said about the dynamic of uniqueness. And I think that's something that we all miss, whether we're looking at coaching, consulting, being an entrepreneur in any form, or even an entrepreneur, where, you bring entrepreneurial ideas inside of an organization. Regardless of what it may be, when there's a new opportunity there's always that negative thought of, why would anybody want to hear me? There's so many other people out there. But I think you nailed it when you talked about the dynamic of your unique being. It's amazing, out of the 8 billion people on the earth, the people who've been here before us and the people that will come after us, that you could not put two people together and get the same fingerprint. And if we're that uniquely made, then there has to be an element of the uniqueness of our story, the
Right.
uniqueness of our experiences that allow us to be, the leaders, the people who others feel drawn to hear this phenomenal message and how it can propel them or move them forward in their lives. I think that is super important for people to understand and to know. And I'm glad you brought that up, because so many people are just sitting on the heels and saying, there's already enough people out there doing that. There's already enough people who are teaching this and who are teaching that. But you understand the power of your unique story. And I think that's just something that is a great place. I'm glad we highlighted that moment. Make sure, guys, that you stay here and locked. When we come back, we're going to talk to Chad about his experiences and growing and what caused him to write his books on leadership. And so stay here and locked in and stay focused. Make sure, again, if you're not already connected with us on the Yes Go page, on Facebook page, that you go and connect with us on the Yes Go fan page and share your comments about what we're talking about. Great discussion here on leadership. We'll be right back